And with that, the DCEU comes to a close. What's happening, guys? Back at you with another video, and very well, this could be the last DCEU video I might do. Who knows? Maybe I'll do another one in the future, but as of right now, this could be the last one. So in this final video, we are going to be ranking all of the DCEU movies. And the way I'm going to do this is going to be in tier list form. So we have different tiers. We got the bad tier, we got the meh tier, we got the solid tier, we got the amazing tier, and we got the high tier. So I'm basically going to be going movie by movie and telling you my thoughts on it and basically ranking them into a certain tier. Now, the way this works is that it's going to be based on DCEU movies and just how they rank amongst each other. This is not in accordance to any other outside movies or movies in general. This is just in general of the DCEU, which means there's going to be some movies at the bad tier, there's going to be some movies at the high tier, and all the other tiers in between. So let's get started. Starting off with the movie that kicked off the DCEU, Man of Steel. Now, over time, I have grown to like Man of Steel more and more. I think Henry Cavill plays a excellent Superman. And the way they were able to bring us this movie and bring us this character of Superman, basically kicking off the DCEU, and the way they were able to portray Superman in this movie, where, of course, he comes to Earth, we get his origin story, basically, but the way they were able to humanize Superman and basically kind of see the struggles he goes through, trials and tribulations, and the way we're just able to see him become the hero that we know. I think we have an excellent villain with Zod in the movie. And in general, this is just one of my favorite Superman movies to watch. So with that being said, I'm going to have to put this into the amazing tier. Now we get to the second movie in the DCEU, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Now I know what a lot of people think about this movie. A lot of people don't necessarily like this movie. Now when it comes to this movie, I'm going to mainly talk about the Ultimate Edition cut, because that is my favorite cut of the movie. Now, I gotta say, when it comes to this movie, this one is kind of the guilty pleasure movie in the DCEU, at least for me. I remember when this movie came out, I actually saw it twice in theaters, and I know it has many flaws in it. One of those flaws being Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. Really did not like that rendition of Lex Luthor. But I gotta say, I do enjoy other aspects of this movie. We get the big old battle between these two Goliaths, one in Batman, one in Superman. Batman doesn't trust Superman. We get that whole rivalry between them. Like I said, I do enjoy this movie, even though other people do not. So for that reason, I'm going to have to put this one into the solid tier. And we get to the next movie with Suicide Squad from 2016. Now, I know this is not a great movie. It really isn't. With this movie, I didn't really like the villain of Enchantress. I didn't like the Joker. I didn't like Jared Leto as Joker. But the one thing that I do like about this movie, and that I actually kind of have fun with it, is the whole cast of the Suicide Squad itself. You get the cast of the Suicide Squad with Harley Quinn, Deadshot. They're fun to, fun, just having fun in this movie. Got the rest of the characters going in here. So I know this is definitely not a great movie, but I still have at least fun with the characters themselves. But I don't think it's enough to put into the solid tier, so I'm going to have to put this one into the meh tier for now. And we get to the Wonder Woman movie. Wonder Woman movie was definitely an interesting movie. Before watching it, I was definitely interested in seeing how Gal Gadot was going to be able to play this role of Wonder Woman in her own solo movie. I like the way she was able to come into Batman v Superman and being introduced in that movie. So I was really interested in seeing what they're able to do with this character in her own solo movie. And I gotta say, I really did enjoy this movie. I really did enjoy this movie in the way Gal Gadot plays the character of Wonder Woman. She has some great chemistry with Steve Trevor. And basically this sort of story that we get with her being like sort of a fish out of water. She's basically seeing the outside world for the first time and getting to know things. But the way that they portray Wonder Woman here, where she is not afraid to get into battle, she doesn't back down from the fight, and just being all powerful and badass in here. I know a lot of people talk about the third act and the villain of Ares, but honestly, for me, it's fine. Sure, it's not great, but it's fine for the movie. But overall, this movie is pretty great, and I just got to put this one into the amazing tier. So we've come to the dreaded Justice League from 2017, aka Justice League. I mean, do I need to say any more stuff that's already been said? I mean, we basically know where this one is going to go, right? I mean, of course, into the bad tier. Man, this movie. Next up, we got the Aquaman movie, and I gotta say, I had a lot of fun with this movie. I know a lot of people are not necessarily high on it, but I do have a lot of fun with this movie. We got Jason Momoa in the starring role of Aquaman, aka Arthur Curry, and he's bringing his own take to Aquaman, and I do, for the most part, enjoy his take on Aquaman. And we have James Wan directing this movie, and I gotta say, I do like some of the visuals that they use in this movie. Just the way they're able to give us this whole underwater world. I really enjoyed this movie. Like, I really like it. It's fun, and going on this adventure. So I'm going to have to put this one into the solid tier. We got the first Shazam movie, and I gotta say, this one is a lot of fun also. I really enjoyed this one. We got Zachary Levi playing the character of Shazam. And I think he plays it pretty well. He's able to play this character as a sort of man-child. And the way people describe it, where it's like basically the movie Big as a superhero movie. And it's a lot of fun to watch. I really have a lot of fun with this movie. So with this one I'm going to have to put into the solid tier. We got Harley Quinn and the long-ass title name. Or whatever they want to call it, Birds of Prey, and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn, or Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, whatever they're calling it nowadays. And in my personal opinion, I think this one's a little underrated. This one definitely kind of went under the radar, probably because this one came out right at the start of the pandemic. So that was when stuff started to shut down. Nobody was really going to go out and see movies. So this one really got like basically went without viewing. But with this one is a lot of fun also. You know, you got Harley Quinn in the starring role. Margot Robbie doing her thing as Harley Quinn. And it's a lot of fun just seeing her in this movie. You have a bunch of other characters in here. I got Black Mask in here. A very interesting villain. But yeah, just having fun with Harley Quinn as this unreliable narrator in this movie. With the way she's just getting over Joker. And just all the hoodwinks and shenanigans she's going through. So yeah, like, I do have a lot of fun with this movie. So this one definitely has to go into the solid tier. Oof. We get to Wonder Woman 1984. And a lot of people dislike this movie. A lot of people do. To me personally, this movie, I remember watching it for the first time and just being like, what? I did watch it for a second time, finally, earlier this year, and still had the same thoughts about it. A lot of questionable things in here, especially when it comes to Wonder Woman when she makes her wish to get Steve Trevor back, and Steve Trevor comes into another guy's body, and basically that guy is being used against his will, if you think about it. We got Maxwell Lord in here as one of the villains, and he's a bit of a weird one. He's a bit of a weird one, and we also got Cheetah in here also, which was going to be interesting. Like, I was kind of interested in seeing how they're going to do Cheetah in this movie, and I mean, she's all right. She's not bad, but like, you know, this movie overall is just a bit weird, and it's a movie I definitely don't go back to watch. So this one definitely going to have to go into the meh tier. Zack Snyder's Justice League. We get to the Zack Snyder cut of the Justice League. This one was really definitely hyped up for. I was definitely interested in checking this one out, just seeing what Zack Snyder's vision really was going to be with this Justice League movie. And I gotta say, after watching it for the first time when it came out, I was not disappointed. It was this amazing, epic movie, this epic story that we got with these characters in the Justice League coming together to take on Steppenwolf. Yeah, sure, it's a 4-hour runtime, but honestly, that's really one of the only things I have against it, is that it's a 4-hour runtime and it's hard to like watch it. But other than that, this movie is just honestly epic to me, and it's just amazing. And the story we get with this one, being able to see Zack Snyder's vision fully realized. I watched it for a third time earlier this year, and it still holds up for me. So I'm glad we got the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League, because it's epic. It really is epic. Honestly, definitely up there when it comes to the DCEU movies. So this one is going to have to go into the high tier. We get to the Suicide Squad, the one that's directed by James Gunn. And this is definitely the superior Suicide Squad movie. We get this cast of characters, the way that James Gunn was able to bring these characters together. And basically, sort of have unknown characters. Like, a lot of people don't even know these characters, but the way he was able to bring them together in this movie and actually make you feel for these characters and actually like these characters really speaks to the use of his storytelling. This one is a lot of fun to watch. Definitely one of my favorites in the DCEU. And honestly, to me, this one doesn't really have many flaws with it. Like, there's not really too many flaws I could really point out or anything like that. And I just have a lot of fun with this movie. It's so good. And just the way you're able to actually feel for these characters, actually get to know these characters and like them. So, with that being said, this one's going to have to go into the high tier. And we get to Black Adam. Black Adam, starring The Rock as the main character of Black Adam. This movie was basically in development for many, many, many years, back when The Rock had hair, actually. But the way with this movie, it just feels like a basic superhero movie, sort of generic. Honestly, it feels like it was made maybe in the 2000s or something. Really, one of the things I was looking forward to before watching this movie was being able to see Doctor Fate in live action form, and I was definitely looking forward to that. And I wasn't disappointed with that, where Pierce Brosnan actually brought a great character in Doctor Fate and playing him pretty well. I really enjoyed his character in the movie. Hawkman was also pretty cool character in the movie, also going up against Black Adam a lot, having this rivalry. So at times it was kind of fun to see that. But man, they have a forgettable villain. I don't remember what his name. I think it was like Sarbach or Sarback, something like that. I don't know. I don't really remember. So yeah, forgettable villain. This movie just feels generic at times. So yeah, y'all can guess where this movie's going. It's going to go into the meh tier. Shazam! Fury of the Gods. This is the movie that we got earlier this year. And I gotta say, some of the DCEU movies that came out this year had a bad hand dealt to them, where basically the new DC universe was already announced before these movies even came out. So people didn't even check these movies out. I didn't go to the theater to check this one out. I did wait until it was ready to stream. And I watched it over the summer when it was finally streaming. And I got to say, man, this one was such a step down from the first one. I really liked the first one. I really enjoyed the first one. Had a lot of fun with it. But this one was just, I don't know, like really a step down from what we got in the first one. Zachary Levi is still fun to see as the character of Shazam in here. But man, we got the use of the Shazam family in here, and we got these other villains that are kind of forgettable. Also, I mean, I know it's just Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu in here as the villains, but that's about it. I don't remember too much about their actual villains or their characters. And this movie is just honestly forgettable. Like I forgot about specific things that happened within the movie after a while just watching it. Like even now, after watching it just the one time, I couldn't really tell you a whole lot of things about this movie. I mean, I remember one part there was like Shazam going up against a dragon, but that's about it. Oh yeah, there was a Wonder Woman cameo, right? But honestly, that's about it. That's all I could really remember from this movie, to be honest. It's just forgettable, and honestly, it was a step down from the first one that I really did enjoy. I would have put this one into the bad tier, but I don't think it's as completely bad as the other movie that's there. So I'm just going to have to put this one towards the bottom of the meh tier. And we come to the summer movie release of The Flash. I gotta say, when I first watched this movie, for the most part, I enjoyed it. I had some fun with it, but I just felt underwhelmed with this, especially after all the reviews and some of the people that saw it early going like, oh, it's one of the best superhero movies of all time. Oh, this movie so great and all that stuff. And I think they kind of overhyped it. And going in, I didn't necessarily have my expectations high for this movie, but going in, I just felt like, and after watching it, it was like, yeah, this movie, it was fun and all. It was fun to see Michael Keaton come back as Batman. The Flash was in here, Ezra Miller. It had Supergirl in here also, which she was kind of cool to see on screen and all that. But, by the end of it, I just felt like slightly underwhelmed with it. I felt slightly underwhelmed with it. Just felt like something was missing from the movie. Just, I don't know, just felt like something. But for the most part, I did have fun with it, and I watched it for a second time when it came on streaming, and I still had the same feelings about it. It's not a bad movie by any means, but it's sort of a solid, enjoyable movie. It almost goes into the amazing tier, but I'm going to have to put it into this high solid tier for now. Now we have Blue Beetle, and I got to say this one is really, really one of my favorite movies of the year. I enjoyed this movie so much. I was so hyped for this movie. Being a Blue Beetle fan going on for like 10 years now, I was really excited to see this movie and see a live action form of the character of Blue Beetle. Whenever they announced Xolo Maridueña was going to be playing the role of Jaime Reyes, I was like, I'm sold. That is exactly the type of person I want to play this character. I was like, I agree. Let's get him to play Jaime Reyes. I can see it. And after watching this movie, I was so happy with this movie. I enjoyed it so much. I had a lot of fun with this movie. The way they're able to bring the Hispanic inspiration and the family in here and have just being relatable, and just seeing this movie and just having the suit. The suit looks so good in this movie. Also, the way they're just able to have this sort of practical suit with little CGI on it. So yeah, this movie was definitely a lot of fun to watch. One of my favorites of the year. I watched it at least 3 times already since or not since theaters. I watched it one time in theaters, and I watched it already twice on streaming. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. I really like this movie, and I know a lot of people were saying it's sort of generic and all that stuff, but honestly, this movie does a generic superhero movie right. Sure, it does common tropes that we've seen in superhero movies before, but it's a lot of fun, and they do it right. So yeah, I know a lot of people are probably not going to agree with me, but I'm going to have to put this one, I think it at least squeaks by into the amazing tier. And we come to the very last movie that we're going to get into DCEU, the movie to close out this franchise, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. And I gotta say, I didn't go into this movie having high expectations. I really just wanted a movie that I was going to be able to have the same amount of fun that I had with the first Aquaman movie, and just have some fun, enjoy it. And I gotta say, I didn't really feel the same way I felt about this one, the same way I felt about the first Aquaman movie. I mean, this one does have some fun moments here and there, especially when it comes to like Orm and Arthur. Like they have some fun brother type moments going on in this movie, and it's fun to see their banter with each other. But honestly, those were majority of the parts that I kind of enjoyed about this movie. I was really hyped to see Black Manta in this movie because of the way they're going to have him as the villain and him seeking his revenge and all that. And I was really hyped to see what Black Manta was going to be able to do. And with his character, I thought he was really good in the beginning parts of the movie. But when it comes to the later half of the movie, and where he's like just getting possessed, and it just kind of takes away from his character a little bit to where this evil force is possessing him. And I didn't really like that. I think they should just kept Black Manta as the main villain, to where he is basically, honestly, they should have just kept this movie more simpler. It felt like I had a convoluted plot where a couple things were going on. You had the whole global warming subplot going on. You had other things going on in this movie, and honestly, they should have just kept it simple. Have Black Manta seeking his revenge. He still could have found the Black Trident, but just have the Black Trident like enhance him somehow. And I don't really think we need this whole evil force from hundreds of years ago trying to take over in here. Honestly, I just wanted to see a good matchup between Aquaman and Black Manta, and we did get a good fight in the third act. But honestly, that just felt short, and just the way it ends, and just the way that this movie was, honestly, they should have just kept it a little bit more simpler. I wouldn't say it's a bad movie, but it definitely wasn't exactly the movie I wanted to see. And the way they just end in this movie, with this movie being the last one in the DCEU, the way they just end this movie on an MCU joke was honestly funny to me. Just felt like, yeah, sure, whatever, we'll end it like this. And then that post-credit scene too also was funny to the point to where it's like, why? And then like, why would you end it like this? And it's just funny to me. So yeah, with this one not being exactly what the movie I wanted to see, not necessarily enjoying the overall product of it, I gotta put this into the med tier. So with that, the DCEU finally comes to a close. It was definitely interesting. It was an interesting 10 year span with these movies. Definitely some hits and misses here and there. But I mean, there were some movies I enjoyed in this franchise. Definitely not necessarily up to par to the overall product to where people wanted it to be. But at least we got a couple good movies here and there that I actually kind of like. Definitely didn't get. Definitely had some bad ones. Definitely, some meh ones. But here's to the next chapter. We'll see how the DCEU goes with James Gunn as the head of it. And here's hoping to the best. Here's hoping to the best to the future of the DCEU. And it was an interesting 10 years for this one. But let me know down in the comments below, how would you rank these DCEU movies? Did you enjoy the DCEU when we had it? But that's going to do it all for this video. Hope y'all all enjoyed it. Remember to subscribe and turn notifications on. Hope y'all all have an awesome day, and we'll see you in the next one.